morning, Dr. Reverend Wesley. How are you?
I am doing good. I'm doing good. Listen, I had asked Dale before he does the intro to the show and all that. We're gonna just let you be a fly on the wall to a conversation we were gonna start while we're waiting for the guests. Is that cool by you?
Yes,
Yeah. All right,
yes.
audience. I hope that's cool by you. So here's a beef I had. We were just talking about someone not responding back. I understand that the world is super busy and everyone's overwhelmed and all that, but we have to be a little more cognizant, I think, and mindful to acknowledge people when they respond to it. No, when they reach out to us. Does that make sense? Like even friends wise, like if someone called you, right? Like at least put a little heart or something that you acknowledged it. So I was expressing to Dale this morning, I'm reaching out to a lot of organizations and no longer do they have phone numbers. So short of going to the place, um, you're dependent upon sending an email and you get back that standard, we'll get back to you and whatever. But what I've been finding over the years is people don't reach back out. Do you
No,
find that too, Dale?
I do. I get a lot of that when I talk to people about they want to be on the show.
Yeah.
At first, I have to book
How
them so
does
far
it
out.
how does it make you feel? Like I don't take it personally, but it makes my life harder. you know?
It does. It makes both our lives harder when they don't show up.
hmm
However,
Yeah.
I don't feel anything. I don't feel snubbed. I don't feel rejected. I don't feel. I'm beyond that in my recovery or something
I
like
don't
that.
feel I don't feel that either, but I guess I've been experiencing it and I know everything I experience, there's a lesson, there's a gift. I'm just not sure how to impart the lessons that I see is that
Yeah.
it's been pretty much for like 6 years. And part of me goes, okay, it wasn't meant to be. I'm being protected, wasn't supposed, and you can do that for so long. But what for me happens is it takes away my motivation.
Mm, I have like 4 or 5 people that I'm waiting to come. I get these guests from a place called Podmatch. And when they
Oh
come
yeah,
up, I uh, invite them on the show, this one or the other one. And if they don't show up, and it's rare that they don't show up, very rare. It does
yeah.
happen. She may have forgot to put it on her calendar, even though I sent her a link, and she may not have had her email on or the phone on, or she may be totally forgot because I got it messed up.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was starting with Dr. Diggs today, but he's next week.
yeah. I mean, I'm not the best myself because for me, like if I have a meeting in person, I never forget it. I don't even have to put on a calendar. But
Yeah.
something about the virtual world, for me at least, I get so involved in what I'm doing. Like generally, if I have something at like 10 in the morning on Zoom, I won't do anything all morning that's on the computer because I get like lost in this. I don't even know how to explain it, but time, I just lose track of time. And as I can set as many alarms as I want, my brain just once involved in something, it ignores everything else. And
Yeah,
so,
mine's not that way. I get the alarm, except for the one on my watch. It's awful light. I
yeah,
it's not very loud,
it's not
but
very loud yet.
so this is where I get the guest. It's from
I think you and I met on Podmatch, didn't we?
I think so.
Yeah, I haven't been on there in a long time. I think, yeah, I had lost a credit card, and so I just haven't updated payment.
Yeah, but I think
But
it'd be, like we talked earlier, I think it'd be a good idea for you to come back on. We can do some more advertising, and I'll send out flyers, not flyers, but when I advertisements I didn't get done this week.
yeah,
I mean,
I know. You know what?
I'm so
All
glad I
right,
keep learning.
Dale and I were talking offline because for me, I do much better in order to hop on and just talk to a camera. I don't do so well because I need the energy of people. And I was telling Dale that through the years, I've like put pictures of people on the computer. I put like videos of people talking in the background so I can just trick my brain into thinking there were other people there. But I know deep within that's I
Mm,
need people. I need people. And I need the energy of people, and I need people to hone in my brain, because
yeah,
when I'm one-on-one with someone, I sense what they need.
yeah,
And if I'm talking to a blank camera, I'm not, it just, who am I talking to? What am I saying? I need to be able to intuitively, and I think that's what's happening in the world today. Everyone's talking, no one's listening, and really they're talking, but they're not saying much of anything different.
no,
From
no, and a lot of people are not listening.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like use the same thing over and over. People are now just like taking other people's videos, or what's even worse, they're using AI. I don't
Yeah,
know about you, but that AI voice, I'm like, I will never listen to that because we need the sound of the human voice.
yeah, we
Like
do.
life is about, yeah,
Whether
life's about energy and vibration, and virtual world takes away that energy and vibration, and it imparts its own energy into us, which
yeah,
I don't, yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. For me, since I don't use it effectively, I'm twin with just throwing in the trash.
I have no knowledge of AI whatsoever.
Me
Couldn't.
neither.
And in the editing software, they got an AI thing in there. I tried to use it and had just couldn't do it. Just wouldn't
Yeah,
work. And it's going to take me a long time to be able to use it. Give me a second. I want to see if she's shown up. Okay?
sure. Yeah.
No, not yet.
Okay. So, when back to the original thought, that what I was saying is a long time ago, my son's in the entertainment industry, and he's the same way. He goes, I don't respond to people. And I'm like, but I said, how's that make you feel when you don't respond? And he said, well, I kind of feel really bad. And I'm like, okay, so it's harming you because you're shaming yourself because people are reaching out to you and you're not acknowledging their comments. But not only that, the other people, you and I know it, we don't take it personally, but some people do.
Yeah, they
And,
do.
when you talk about communication and healthy and authentic and therapeutic communication, it's therapeutic to respond when someone reaches out, even if you don't want to talk to them. Like
Yeah,
I made a text up for my son saying, hey, listen, I'm really busy in the middle of life right now. As soon as I get free, I'll call you. I want to hear what you have to say. And just send that text out randomly. You don't have to text each time. Copy paste, copy paste. But at least to let somebody know that you acknowledge that they're reaching out to you.
that's really important. Humans are sociable creatures,
Hmm. We are.
so we need that contact. So if we get rejected, some people take it very personally because they haven't learned yet.
It's
They
not
don't have,
even rejected. I think it's not acknowledged. For me, that's my trigger. I don't mind being rejected. I'm cool with that. It's not being acknowledged time and time
okay,
again. For me, that's the difference.
I can go
Because
along with that
yeah,
being
because
acknowledged.
yeah,
'Cause I
because
can,
it just makes you feel like you're floating out there on your own.
because not being acknowledged really does irritate me.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not rejected. If you can reject me left and right, I wish people would reject me. I just, if I do talk to people too, and they're like, oh, yeah. And it's, for years now, I'd be on Zoom calls with professionals and I make comments and nobody acknowledges. And you'll see the one before and after. And I think I may have told you this once before, but I was on a, a call with 50 professionals for trauma, right? They were all working towards helping people with trauma. And so I knew this had been happening for years, that my comments were not acknowledged. And I went, I wonder if it's the way I'm asking. I wonder if it's just not being seen. So I had a question to ask to these 50 people. And the question was, I'm new to California. How can I get involved in this? Trauma is my specialty. I'm an expert in the area, not only lived, but a research expert. And I didn't want to ask it because I didn't want to possibly think it was me, the way I was asking or whatever. So I asked the moderator to ask the question to the 50 people. She asked it. Not one person responded. Not even a I don't know. They just ignored the question. And I'm pretty sure what happened was they really didn't have an answer. But instead of someone saying, I don't have an answer, nobody said a damn thing. So like I am amazing at shifting perception and doing whatever. But if I don't know what I'm dealing with, how am I supposed to
I hear what you're
tell
saying.
myself a story that benefits me? You know what I'm saying? And it's time and time again, I keep seeing that. And I'm pretty resilient, but if you've got someone on the other end of what I've been experienced who is not and who's struggling and alone and sick and whatever, like that's hugely impactful in a negative way.
Yes, it is. It totally is. I understand that very well. It wasn't you though.
Yeah, no, I'm sure I've done it, and I didn't. The only ones I won't acknowledge. Somebody sent me a video last night at 1 a.m. Now I'm guessing they figure my phone's off. I'm like, that one I'm not acknowledging. It's 1 a.m. You shouldn't be sending me a video, or come and consider it. It's just considerate. That's all. I don't know. It's where do we lose consideration for one another? Because there really is no excuse for it.
No, and I don't know where we lost it, but we lost it somewhere around the 60s when all that stuff was going on with Vietnam and the protest and the terrorist groups that were out there, like, whichever ones were out, I don't even remember now.
Yeah.
Students for Democratic Society was one of the terrorist groups.
And it the more, because what I created, the Project Stop This Train and the HEART model, I need a larger organization to sponsor, execute, and help me facilitate it. It's huge. The HEART model it's something for the masses, and it's way bigger than one person, right? And like most things are, you need a team. And so when I reach out to these mental health, social service organizations to see if they'd be interested, I get a couple responses back. I get one, we already do that. And first of all, they don't, I created. But the second is, as a nurse for 30 years, I look and go, if you already do that, what you're doing isn't helping, because the world is getting worse, not better. People are getting more depressed, more dysfunctional, and we're just holding it all within. And the second thing that happens is I do start to get triggered, not personal trigger, but like a negative emotion trigger, when I hear them speaking words that I know from experience, they aren't talking their walk. No, they aren't walking their talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the spiritual center I went to, the people in the congregation are wonderful, but those who are leading it, they're not walking their talk. And it's so important to be authentic. Like, I am an inspirational speaker. I don't sound real inspirational now, but I'm walking my talk. I am frustrated with the world, and I'm not sure how to interact with the world who's, I don't even know what the word is to explain it.
How does any one of us interact with the world in today's society, where everybody's so hustle bustle?
Yeah, and it's,
and they're afraid.
I get that, but we need to talk. I'm afraid too. I'm afraid because I need people to be resilient. I need to know I'm not alone in the world, stuck behind a computer somewhere. And, when I go out every day, I'm fine. The other day I talked to 3 people. They were the most heartwarming, soul-filling, authentic conversations like I used to have 15, 20 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
It filled my soul so much that I was supposed to go to a choir practice. And when I go to choir practice, there are a lot of people who are not authentic. And I feel it in my body, right? Because I'm kind of like a lot of people. an empath, and I feel it, and I also can see beyond people's exterior. So I know they're hiding, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to go, I see you. You're amazing. You're enough. What are you hiding from? Let yourself free. But the 3 conversations I had, one was with a homeless person who was one of the wisest person I've ever met. The other was with just some guy I met at Starbucks. And the other was with a woman I was sitting next to, and we just started talking.
Mhm.
These conversations filled my soul so much that I went, I'm not going to choir practice because I don't want to feel pulled down. You know, I'm in a really good heart space right now, and I need to stay here. So when we meet people one-on-one who are willing to open their hearts, the world is still wonderful. From what I'm seeing, it's just we need to take the time to allow ourselves to open and experience the love that is out there within each and every one of us.
And that's going to be the difficult part, is getting people to,
Yeah.
they become so jaded with all this crap that's going on. You know, the politicians are getting, pulling all kinds of nasty stuff. Different organizations are being corrupt. Um, and people getting jaded, they're getting cynical. They
Yeah.
don't trust anybody else because they feel that they're a part of that other group is that is doing all the corrupt stuff. When
Well, and
it may not be.
you know what? And the differences are getting bigger. They're getting bigger. You know, and those who lead, those who serve, and then those who are served are the 3 groups I see, right? And
Yeah.
I'm speaking as a healthcare professional and a spiritual practitioner, but the only way to come together is authenticity, because at the end of the day, all this stuff frustrates me, but I trust myself enough to trust. I trust it. How can I say this? I trust myself enough to trust that I know when I should walk towards somebody or stay away from them. Or if I can walk towards them and still maintain my integrity, being with someone who might be a little angry or nasty or mean. In the past, I've always been able to do that.
I can't.
But yeah, but you know why I was able to do it? Because I had those conversations and hugged strangers 15, 20 times a day. It filled my heart. The last 7 years, you and I have talked, I've been pretty much alone, not talking to anybody until the past year, like for weeks at a time. So my resilience got lowered because I wasn't exchanging energy with strangers. I wasn't healing through human touch, you know, and that really is the answer. When I go to the spiritual center I go to, since nobody's answered my texts and requests to volunteer, like that's crazy. I want to volunteer, right? But anyhow, I just decided to do what I do on my own. So when they're doing the service, I can sense who's really struggling or who needs validation of their light and their love. And so I go up to them, and just total strangers, I don't even say anything. I put their hand on my heart. I put my hand on their heart. I say, look in my eyes. People who are hiding from themselves will start crying within a minute, like a soulful release, like cry. People who do see themselves say it feels calm, feels like home, they'll put their hand on top of my hand to hold it there. And just, you can see the peace. And that's the peace we all have within each of us. Ironically, when I've done this to the practitioners at the place, including the leader, I put my hand on their heart, and after a minute, the leader pulled it away. I'm like, what the heck's that for? And I think it's because he saw some. When people walk away from us, or when we make people uncomfortable, in my experience, it's generally nothing that we did. It's we're serving as, when the heart is open, we serve as a reflection to who they can be and who they are not. or who they are. So if people like what they see of themselves in you, then they feel comfortable with you.
Mm-hmm.
If they see something in you that they know they could have within themselves, but they're not setting free, then they feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. So
Human nature.
boundaries.
Yeah, and when people feel uncomfortable, it's sometimes human nature to just go, "Oh, it's not me. It must be them. Something's wrong with them making me uncomfortable." And so, what I've seen throughout my life is that it is so easy that if we could just walk down the streets, look in each other's eyes, you don't have to say a word, touch someone's hand. Like that is really what, if we all did it on a regular basis, that would heal us because it would put us in coherence with the energy of the universe, which means we get into a flow state. But it's moving beyond the fear that's why I created the heart model for systems, because not just one person can do it. I mean, they can, but it's not going to have the same impact. It's like we all have to do this. And
Yeah.
it's just, I just want y'all stop. Just stop what you're doing. Stop. Because the more we try to make ourselves better, the worse things get because we're already great. I was a labor and delivery nurse for years. I thought 1,000 deliveries. We are great at birth. Society screws it up because we start covering ourselves up, and we cover up the very simplicity of being that makes us great. See, now if I could say, sorry, I am so on a tangent there.
That's all right. You're doing just great. I'm actually learning a bunch of a lot of it I already knew.
But see, if I sat here in front of a camera, I can't say any of that because, like you, I am a spiritual being, and that higher self within me knows what to say. If I tried to plan to say, I don't even know exactly what I said now. I could not recreate what I just said to you because
No,
it
you don't
came
have
from my heart. Yeah, but I'm saying the world makes us like think things through, and the magic of who we are as human beings isn't found in our brain, it's found in our heart. But if we if we don't open our hearts, we will never see ourselves and see that we can trust ourselves, that we don't have to listen to other people. The information, the knowledge is out there to you to discern for yourself what is right and what is not. And you do that not with your thoughts primarily, but with your intuition.
Well, I have learned over the years to trust my gut, as I call it.
Yeah.
My intuition. They say
Yeah.
before I was listening to them, I was getting all kinds of trouble because I wasn't listening to myself.
Yeah.
And part of it is because I didn't like myself very well.
Mm.
I knew and stuff, and just I was angry, frustrated, and
So how do you,
not having a lot of people around me to talk to, even though I was in 12-step programs. I don't make friends very easily for some
me
reason. So I never really
well,
had
actually,
anybody.
what allowed you to shift? Like I was a kid when I shifted that, and I connect very easily. But because of who I am, like very spiritual, very emotionally selfish, I spend a lot of time alone
Mm-hmm.
because I like my time alone. It's where it's in the aloneness and the dark of the pain and feeling alone that like I learn the wisdom. I find the gifts in the darkness.
But yeah, you will.
Yeah. Which, and I've gotten so good at being with my own darkness and holding a space for me. And I've done that years ago. That's I think why I'm so good at holding other people's darkness, because I feel safe in the dark of me. Like there's great light in me, but there's also great dark. And I don't mean evil dark, right? I just, yeah, I just mean sad times. Like I'm not when I'm by myself, I'm not always light. But I've learned how to, with putting my hand on my heart, like I do with others. Every morning I put my hand on my heart. I do rubber band breathing, like breathe from the ground, pull it up, hold in my abs, and I go, I am safe. I got you, girl. I am safe. We're okay. This will pass. We got it. We got it. I got you. And and that was the gift I was given with traumatic brain injury, because in those moments I can't go outside and walk because my balance is off. And I'm not, my cognition is not there yet. I'm in this alpha wave meditative state that takes my brain a long time to wake up, you know. But I learned how to do it for myself, and I think that's why I can hold a space for anger, whatever. For me, what I have a hard time holding a space for is in authenticity, because I don't, if I don't know what I'm dealing with, I'm not sure how to deal.
Yeah, well, nobody can, I don't think. I don't hold other people's darkness very well. I have enough trouble with my own.
But do you see, like when I see someone else's dark, and I've been doing this for a long time. I'm 61 now. I've been doing it since I was 16, right? But I learned the questions to ask. Well, first of all, if I sense someone's dark, I always give them my power. I loan it to them by being vulnerable. I'll tell them something about myself, like, I'm really struggling at this moment. Someone who's hiding is going to tell you what to do not to struggle. Someone who's not hiding and who's struggling too will admit to you they're struggling.
Right.
And from that point, you're now on an equal basis. No one person's higher than the other. No, this idea of helping we do is, I think, probably the worst thing that we can do is to try to help each other. Because when you try to help someone, it puts one person up here and the other one down here. Just think of what it's like when people say, let me help you, because it's more of a pity. Let me help you. I know more than you do. Let me help you, right? And that's not a healthy thinking, but it's where a lot of people's mind go to, particularly people who are struggling, who've had trauma, And so what I learned to do a long time ago was to either bring myself up or down. But I just made it an even playing field. I'm here for you. You hear from me. We can hold a space right now for whatever it is.
Yes.
And we can move on from this point, and I may never see you again. But our role as human beings in this world is to exchange energy, to hold a space for the dark, so we can help one another, so we can guide one another to see each other's light. It's that simple. Yet
it really is. It's been my experience and my theory when I was a counselor, that it truly is that simple.
It is.
Don't drink, you don't get drunk. It's that simple.
Yeah, when I worked in public health for 30 years with at-risk pregnant women on welfare, and when I left there, someone, a head nursing and educational institution said, "We've been studying your company's patients. Yours do much better. They have like 30% improved life outcome. What are you doing? You need to teach nurses." And I said to her, everything opposite you taught me to do in nursing school as far as communication. I went in not as a nurse, I went in as a woman who had something to teach them, but they also could teach me. And as two women, we could just figure this out. And if we couldn't figure it out, we could just talk about it. We could share experiences. We could share wisdom. I never told them what to do. I would say, hey, you know what? When I experience something like that, this is what worked for me. Leave it at that. If they want to try it, yes. If they don't, no. But where we got into trouble in the world is, I think, that we don't feel complete within ourselves. So when we try to, quote unquote, help other people, we're doing it a large part to make ourselves feel more worthy. So if they don't take our suggestions, if they don't take our advice, where does that leave us if we're advising them so we feel worthy? It means we're not worthy, right? I
Yeah.
know my worth. So I don't care if you listen to what I tell you or not. I'm just sharing things that worked and didn't work for me. If you won't listen to it, fine. If you don't, fine. And no skin off my back. I mean,
No.
actually, though, it is long term because if we're all, if, because of things like now, so it is a skin off my back, right?
Hmm.
Because I'm you, you're me, we are the other people out there. We are all in this together. Whether we like it or not, whether it appears that we are not, we are. And if I share love, the person I share love with will share love. They may not even know they're sharing love because the reality is love and light and all those compassion, empathy, when you try to do it, it will backfire because it's not coming from the right place. That stuff can't come from your head. It's got to come from your heart, which means that you got to open yourself to your own pain. You have to open yourself to your own self-compassion. And then once you do that towards yourself, it automatically spills out. Damn, this must be spirit. Because I'm listening to myself going, what the heck am I going to... my apologies for not giving you fair time here.
No. As I said earlier, and I've learned some things here from you talking, and I am so tired that I'm having difficulty focusing my brain to say things.
Yeah, well, that's right. I've given you a lot to process too, and
Yeah.
I get that. What I say is, it's a lot to process, right?
That's okay because I got tired. I
And
process really well when I do sleep. I wake up the next morning and go, oh, that's how that works. That's what that is. This is how this is. Because I wake up in the morning and my brain will process it through the night.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it helped me rather than during the day when my brain's working on 7 different projects at one time. It won't work on what we're talking about.
yeah.
It's
Do you
not.
know what? If I was there right now, I would just give you the biggest hug because I could give you all my pent up energy, which is neither good or bad, negative or positive. It's just active, and fuel it into you. So
Oh,
your heart, yeah. You want to try a virtual hug? I don't think it works as well. I can give you some energy, Reiki, but here, hold on. Put my big hug. Oh, there. Let's try this. You want to try something with me? I'm going to put my hand on your heart, like up to the screen.
all right.
And you put your hand up to the screen. I've never tried this before.
Me either. You ready?
Yep, I'm going to send you some energy. And you be honest whether you feel anything or not.
Something.
Feeling something?
Yeah.
I feel it too. Sending out. I feel it. This is all we need to do for one another.
Mm-hmm.
It's not doing it for someone else. It's
Guess what? We just found a technique that we can use when we get guests in here, people who want help.
Yep, I do. Well, that's what I do every morning. I put my hand on my heart. I didn't know it my whole life. I just uncovered it a few years ago that what my inner guidance was guiding me to do was connect with myself.
Yeah.
It was connect to that hand on heart says really what it says. It does exchange energy scientifically, but psychologically what it does is it says, I'm here. You're not alone. You're supported. That's what it says. I do it now in days because it's so impactful for me and the people I do it with on the streets and in the spiritual center when I do this. Like it fills the soul it pumps you up so that you can deal with anything. If you do that all day, right? So I do it to myself, but I tried doing it in the mirror the other day and it actually did work. I put my hand on my heart and the other one on my heart's reflection in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of sent love from my heart. And sending love is, I just kind of push out, which opens the heart chakra.
Right.
right? So all these things Spirit guided me to do when I was starting at age of 2, all these self practices. It put me in that state of flow, and it allowed my brain. When I had my brain studied, I have twice the amount of alpha waves as the average person, but they're half the speed, which means I pretty much spent my life channeling 24/7, like in that alpha state. And I think what happens, because when I do this to people, I could walk past them the next day and they won't even recognize me. And a
Mhm.
lot of times I won't recognize them. And I think what's happening is when we're touching our hearts, we are creating that alpha wave thing. And when you channel, you don't remember what you're channeling. Like, and I'm sure we've all done this. We've written something, or we've been in that state of flow, our higher selves, where we're working like crazy and we don't even really remember doing it. And that's what I think the heart to heart puts people in, that state of what it feels like to be free, to be yourself, to be seen, to be accepted, and to tap in the energy, what they call heart brain universal coherence, that puts all of us in a state of flow. So, but it's hard to put into words. You have to experience it. And that's why I told people when I came out to share this message of heart and authenticity, and how important yet how simple it is
Yeah.
to live life. It's the simplicity and fulfillment of being loved, not being loved, being loved, which is more fulfilling than being loved, you know. But I tell people, like, I can't do a business because I give people the experience of what it's like to be free to be themselves, who they are beneath the armor. And it
Yeah.
doesn't sometimes. It
We don't
takes,
have permission.
yeah,
Humanity does not have permission to be itself. We always have to wear different hats. We wear one hat at
yeah.
work, we wear one hat at home, we wear one hat at the ball game, we wear another hat with our buddies, and another one with, so we wear all these
No,
hats. We're
and no
not
wonder
ourselves.
no wonder we can't trust ourselves. We don't
Right.
even know who the hell we are,
No.
right? And that's the thing when I uncovered that through my own story, is that I realized all the abuse I had, everything, the divine heart healings I used my whole life allowed me to not take things personally. They allowed me to look at my abusers and go, wow, I wonder why they're hurting, that they would hurt me like that. What are they hurting from? And I wonder what they need. And then whatever they need, I'd give it. What would I need if I were them? And I would give them what I would need.
Mm-hmm.
And that allowed me to emotionally heal from trauma without even trying. But it also, I just had a brain fart. I have no clue what I was about to say. Sorry, it just went right on. See, now that was Leslie. That was not Spirit, my higher self, generally.
Right.
But our higher self, when they say we have everything we need, we do, because we don't need much to flow. We overthink. When I look at what they're teaching people, it's all this list to be to manifest. Do you know how I manifested? And I'm a damn good manifester. I didn't even know I was manifesting, because all I would do was go in that dark moment, right? In the morning, every morning when I wake up and I can't remember really who I am. In that void, I learned to daydream. And when I was 2, the first thing I started daydreaming was of this world that was loving and accepting, where it was just this utopia. And by the time I was 20 years old, I lived in that world. I manifested it, but did I try to manifest it? Nope. I had a hard time coming out of my job and going up to businesses, because the way this world works is like, what did you do? I didn't even know what I did. All I knew is people said I had a gift. People said I changed their lives in a matter of a 2-hour conversation, or an hour conversation, or sometimes 10-minute. I would walk away from everything going, I love the validation, but what gift are they talking about? I have no clue.
No.
I had no clue because I lived my life in that alpha state, not trying, just going, my intention is to find joy in the moment, no matter how shitty the moment is, to try new things, to walk towards what makes me uncomfortable, to give other people what I need. To like, these are just the very simple things. I had no knowledge, nothing, just a frigging kid who daydreamed an amazing life. But manifestation, if you're focusing on manifestation, I want this, I want that. Once you start to want something, and I've seen that because I've proven to myself the last 5 years, when we want something, we push it further away because that want ties you to an outcome. It ties everything. Here's something interesting. Before I left work, I never really used computers, but occasionally I'd hop on social media. I had no agenda. I just wanted to tell people what was in my head. People loved it. Now when I go, and this is probably why I get stuck, I go, uh-oh, what am I talking about? Is it going to make sense? Because I have too much knowledge. Spirit told me one day, I was walking in the lake one day, and it was like this, where the water meets the sand. And I was just walking and I heard knowledge got in your way. And it did. Knowledge made me overthink the wisdom that's God, spirit, whatever that voiceless voice was, I listened to my whole life. That it messed me up trying to work like the way the rest of the world does. Makes a life of just the simplicity of and fulfillment of being who we are. The way the world works now is really challenging to do that. And I think that's the whole purpose of the energy shift. It's going to fall apart. I see we're going to fall, systems are going to fall, but I think everyone's hanging on so tight to it that it's really creating the chaos and separation.
And it needs to fall.
It does. If we just go, guess what? Fuck it. Ooh. That's why when I was 16, that's why I finally said, fuck it. I don't know how to work in this world, right? I didn't know I had traumatic brain injury and autism and all these things but that too, all the research I've done the last 6 years, the knowledge that I've gained, not from books, just from actually looking at my life and why I did things and how, and there is a neurodivinity to trauma. The majority of people have trauma have a neurodiverse brain. They have ADHD, they have anxiety, they have autism, they have this. And that was given to, yes, it was given to us for a reason, because that is the right-sided brain, and the right-sided brain is more creative. That's the one that's more heart-based, right? That allows us to feel empathy and compassion.
Right.
Where we get into trouble, people have had trauma, is nobody was there to teach us these experiences mean nothing about who you are. They're simply other people haven't dealt with their shit.
Yeah.
And they're creating pain. That's it. Even parents, because parents were kids too.
Yeah.
Generational trauma isn't limited to a certain race or culture. Generational trauma is any family that has not dealt with where the parents haven't dealt with their own stuff, because it just carries on and on and on.
They don't even know they have stuff.
They don't. That's what I'm saying. It's nobody's fault. There's no shame.
Parents taught them, their parents taught them, their parents taught them, and it goes through multi-generations. But this is the way we raised children. This is the way we were taught. Now it's changed to some degree, but not very well.
And from what I see and hear at different spiritual centers, though, consciousness is, I've actually heard this from certain leaders, we are consciously involved. Those other people are not. Okay, that is not consciousness. That's not conscious thinking.
No.
That is not the divine truth of who and I. It's, here's how I look at life. And again, this about what I'm going to say, I've only learned this in the past 5 or 6 years, and I've learned it from within. from uncovering who I was. I always knew I was loved, but I didn't know my spiritual ties. I didn't know that I had 3 near-death experiences. I didn't know all these things. It certainly makes sense now why people would tell me I sound like Jesus. And I'm like, dude, I've never even been to church. I don't read the Bible. And this is what I was saying in my life before 2017.
Yeah.
I was who I was came about from near-death experiences and my trauma. But where I had a leg up is that I was listening to that voiceless voice within.
Mm.
And I had the advantage of parents who didn't teach me pretty much anything, right? Like I never had anyone take me under their wing or guide me. My guide was that voiceless voice, which was
Yeah.
the divine, you know? And so I could go out into the world with a pure heart, the intellect of someone really smart, but cognitive function of someone not, who couldn't work in this world. And I had to find my own way. And the easiest way to find my way through life back then was to just give everyone else what I needed. And I needed to be seen and accepted for who I was. And I needed to, yeah. And
No,
that,
I was sitting here
and
thinking, well, while you were
from
talking,
that, yeah. And I'm just saying, from that put me into my heart and brain were working together. My brain was going very slow. I didn't think. It was in that alpha wave state, which is so when people, the energy of the computer, this 5G, me and the computer, like when I get done here, if I'm just typing something on the computer, within a very short time, 15, 20 minutes, I start getting numb lips. I start slurring a little bit, signs of a stroke. And then if I'm on it for a half hour or more, I get off. It takes me a couple hours to come back down and ground. Like, you know, I know everyone uses it, but the more time we can spend off technology, away
yeah,
from that energy, because we're doing all these things to ground ourselves, the computer ungrounds us. Ungrounds
Mhm.
us? I don't know if that's the word, but it messes up with our energy. But
Yeah.
what I did was my brain worked really slow. When you talk energy, it's in hertz, right? And
Yeah.
everyone's listening to these like, you know, you see on YouTube, the high frequency. The
Yeah.
energy that gets us in a state of flow has nothing to do with frequency. Let me rephrase that. There's a better way of saying that. The energy that puts us in flow has to do more with active and stagnant energy than it does with positive, negative, or the high low. When it comes to frequency, the brain and the mind have to be on the same frequency. So if you're listening to these sounds that are 990 hertz, which is ridiculously high frequency, then your body better be going as quickly as your mind.
Yeah.
If you're listening to 40 hertz, which is very low, which is what I think 40 hertz scientifically has been proven to be the speed or the vibration that the heart, the brain, the body, and the universe are all on the same frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pouring out. You're going to have a major headache by the time this is done. I'm sorry. I'll send you some love and energy to calm you.
It's snowing here.
Is it really? Oh my God, that's snow. But yeah, but anyhow, I got off track, part of it, because I didn't have people to share my energy, my excess energy, my high energy with. But I also had my brain going a million miles an hour learning. I had slowed my body. I started breathing the way they say to, which slowed my body even more. And my brain and my body got out of balance. And I didn't have the rest of the world to bring me into equilibrium by hugging and conversing and feeling the heart. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. What, to me, people are afraid to touch each other nowadays. Walking down the street, people are afraid to go up to somebody like you do and say, "Can I give you a hug?"
Yeah. No one's ever told me. Now I will add, like, since COVID, I don't know if I did before, but since COVID, I say, "Are you comfortable hugging?" And I do probably like have people say no, and I say, "Are you comfortable if I just touch your heart?" you know, like and people ask me what I do. It's always been so hard because in reality, what I do is who I am. It's nothing that I do. It's just I open the heart chakra. I heal. I facilitate heart healing, but
Mm-hmm.
it's up to the rest of the world. We need to keep that going. My patients who did so well because I saw them every week. They
Right.
had somebody to maintain that,
Yeah.
you know. And I I don't know. I mean, I know I'll get where I'm going because the mission I'm on is a divine one. It's, I remember a couple years ago, I'm busting my butt, making myself sick, spending all this money, and I don't even want business. Like I just want to travel the world and share love and listen to
Yeah.
people and share the heart healings, And but so it's bigger than me. So I know we'll get where we're going.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say earlier that I don't believe that I've ever been truly loved like you
oh
define.
yeah,
I don't think that's ever happened.
yeah. Yes, it
And
has.
the other thing I
You
was
would
going to
feel
say,
it. I truly love you. I
I
mean,
said, thank you.
and when I say love, too, when I'm talking love, I'm not talking about intimate partner love.
No, yeah, no.
I'm talking about love. I just love, just
That spiritual
love,
energy
like
called love that is so lacking in our society.
love to me is, well, the acronym, I've come up with all these acronyms. I have a book of acronyms of how we can redefine things because I was trying to figure out how to explain stuff simply, right? So I made
Yeah,
acronyms. But for love, and this isn't even mine, I have to credit this guy named Jonathan Chambers, listening with objectivity and vulnerability to empower. And that was the first time anyone put a name on what I did. I asked him, "How do you define love?" And he goes, "Well, you're love." And I said, "Huh?" And he said, "Will you listen with objectivity and vulnerability to empower people?" So being loved and being loved to me is I live to love. I look to inspire and validate people and elevate them through
yeah.
listening with objectivity. And I love you. You're amazing, Dale. If we could take the time, look at the people in your life, and they can come and go. Not everyone's meant to stay in our lives,
No, they're
right?
not.
Yeah. You have made a positive impact on my life. And
Okay.
when someone does that, to me, that's love. Like I value our connection.
Oh, I do
You know?
too. I remember, even though we don't talk to each other every day,
Yeah.
and
I
that's okay.
and if we can, and that was kind of like what I did when I was young too on the heart healing. Is I look to learn from every person so that everyone I met, I may not remember their face or their name, but I remember the story. I hold them all in my
Yeah,
heart. And I look to learn from everyone. And
yeah,
and what did they teach me? And if we can just that little mindset of what can this person teach me? Not how much time are they consuming out of my day, but if you stop to listen, what are they there to teach you?
they're here to teach you something.
Yeah,
Everybody in our lives is put into our lives for a reason.
yeah,
Maybe temporary, maybe long term, but it's still not permanent.
yeah. And another tip that's helped me just in the past few years, because it's been really dark. Like I this is for the first time since I was a kid that I haven't felt seen. And not being seen and being sick at the whole time, knowing what you're here to do, having 100% certainty I'll get to where it is, but I feel like I'm missing out on life because I'm missing out on people
Yeah,
and the experiences of people. But one of the things I realized is that what my soul came here to do and what Leslie, the ego, wants to do may not be the same thing. Right? And so I think a lot of us, if we can kind of shift, whether we believe in souls or not, like just imagine that something came in, an energy is what a soul is. An energy is in you, and they're here to learn from what they never learned before. So that might be an easy way for us to depersonalize stuff. I'm not sure, but I know one thing: if you're not if you're not living life the way your soul wants you to live it, that's hell on earth.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we're out of time.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Um,
No, Leslie, don't be sorry at all.
yes, Dead America says, and yes, you are absolutely right. You must get out of yourself to get into people. But here's, if I may add to that, Dead, you must first know yourself.
Yes.
You must be in tune with your body, and that's what I mean by know yourself. You must be in tune with who you are to see you can trust yourself, so you can lose yourself and become one with all. So,
Yeah, I agree.
thank you everyone for
Yes, thank you for listening to us. I'll get this out as soon as I can. Let me how do I get both of us out of here? All right.
Okay, so Dead America, try the hand on the heart.